working exactly right, and then they'll be back. And we're going to get the P-51 into position here momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from Lexington, North Carolina, flying the incomparable P-51 Mustang, it is Captain Michaels. Jeff Michael has been cleared for takeoff. Jeff flew for a number of years for our Piedmont Airlines, based in Winston-Salem. He started out in the warbird community flying a Navy SNJ. That's the North American AP-6, the Navy version. He graduated to this P-51 Mustang, which he named Obsession. And if you saw how much money it costs to fly this airplane, you would understand why it is an obsession. The P-51 Mustang has a 1,600 horsepower V12 engine on the nose. It's water-cooled. That's the reason for the scoop on the belly of the aircraft. But it has a sound like no other aircraft. Arguably the best propeller-driven airplane propeller-driven fighter ever developed. There are single-engine fighters that are bigger and more powerful, but none with the combination of speed, maneuverability, and firepower of the P-51 Mustang. An airplane that was designed and delivered in only 129 days. An amazing story when you look at the development cycle for the F-22 and the F-35, which is more like 129 years. Here he goes. He's got the airplane coming up to full power. He's on Mark 31. Jeff getting a lot of airspeed before he takes it back up. Because the airplane flies on a 1,000-foot Air Show Center line to Category 2. Jeff will not be able to perform aerobatics in the airplane, but he is going to show us how fast this Cadillac of the skies can really go. It was during the Second World War, especially in England, where the massive streams of B-17s and B-24s were departing that island that had become an aircraft carrier on their way into Nazi Germany. Even though they had names like Liberator and Fighting Fortress, well, they couldn't fight their way to the target back against the German Luftwaffe with their Focke-Wulf 190s and their ME-109s. It wasn't until the P-51 started to enter service in late 1943 that the bomber streams could be escorted all the way to the targets and back. The big friends and little friends the whole way. An interesting sidelight is the belly tank that was attached to the bottom of the P-51 to extend that range. Was made out of, oh yeah, Jeffrey, I thought we were not going to be able to do little aerobatics, but there it goes, giving us a victory roll right there at Air Show Center. Those belly tanks were made out of paper mache. After about 8 hours of having the gasoline in them, they just kind of disintegrated into a glutinous mass. But that way, when the fighters dropped their belly tanks over enemy territory, guess what the enemy got? They didn't get aluminum, something that they needed. They got paper mache. So the evolution of the P-51 is an unusual story. During the Battle of Britain, the British approached the North American Aviation Corporation out in Inglewood, California, and asked them to license build the P-40 from Curtiss, the P-40 being the premier fighter at the time. Well, Dutch Kindleberger did not want to build somebody else's airplane, and he asked the Brits if he could design a new airplane. Well, the Brits kind of scratched their head, but they'd had real good track record with the North American Aviation Corporation with their Harvard, what we call the T-6 Texan, that had been delivered to them prior to the war, literally flown to the Canadian border and pushed over the border because of the strange export regulations that we had at the time. Well, they gave them 130 days. They made it with 129 days. The prototype flew. If you can imagine starting from scratch and building an airplane, designing and building. It was powered by the same Allison engine that was in the P-40s, which was not really good at altitude. And those high-altitude dogfights over England didn't work out too well. The Allison engine didn't have good lungs. Well, one of the engineers in England decided, well, let's take that Allison out and let's put the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, the same engine that they were using in the Spitfires and the Hurricanes. And well, the difference was amazing. The airplane with high altitude capability due to its two-stage geared supercharger kept producing full power up to altitude with the maneuverability using a laminar flow airfoil, which was then a radical design. And it became the nemesis of the Luftwaffe. Another interesting side note, one of Dutch Kindleberger's engineers was Jewish, and he had escaped from Germany in 1936 to get away from the Holocaust oppression of the Jews. I've always thought it ironic that one of the people that Hitler was discriminating against so heavily that he killed 8 million of them came to America and designed a fighter airplane that destroyed his Luftwaffe. Always love little ironic things. Oh, that's a beautiful sound. Jeff's not actually able to bring the airplane up to completely up to full power because the 115, 145 octane fuel that the airplane was designed to fly with, that's 115 octane lean and 145 at a rich mixture, is no longer available, and he's flying with 100 low lead. So, all right.